Hello, and welcome back to another White Album 2 DVD Blu-ray review. So we are actually reading through the bonus content, and this one starts right out with the bonus postcard which was included, which is Setsuna. So this right here is Volume 5, Winter is Coming On. That bittersweet, eternal moment. Project WA2. So we have this blue and white after image here. You can kind of tell it's a little bit fan servicey, and by a little bit, I mean a lot of bit. White Album 2, illustration by Rondo Mizukami. Then we get the front of the postcard, which is the full color version, and it is so pretty. It is really good. It's a shame that these postcards were never made into any other merch than the postcards themselves, because they are so good. Look at Setsuna. Obviously, like, it's a little bit cheesy how fan servicey it is, but she's in the kitchen. She's making up some fresh cream for her birthday cake. Why she isn't wearing a shirt, I couldn't tell you. She didn't want to get it dirty? I don't know. But she's making a cake, so it's not even like something greasy or smelly. So it's just straight up fan service. That's all it is. The fact that Setsuna can make such a beautiful birthday cake, though, like, she's got the whole housewife thing down. Then we move into the DVD itself, which, as a stark contrast, is actually Kazusa. Kazusa has her beautiful dress, and this dress is actually different than it was in the game, which I think is pretty cool, the style that they decided to go with. Personally, maybe I think I kind of prefer the game's version of the dress more, but I appreciate the anime bringing its own twist to things, keeping things a little bit different. This is Volume 5. Then on the Blu-ray's cover, we actually get the full image of Kazusa here. I do really like the lighting on her. You can kind of tell that the stage lights are really bright. You can see the shimmer in her hair, which is pretty cool. I love the one shoulder on the dress. I think that is so cool. The ruffles. Whereas her other dress was really sleek, you know? And in this fuller version, you can actually see all of the audience members there in the background. White Album 2. Winter is coming on. That bittersweet, eternal moment. So, this one contained episodes 9 and 10. So things are pretty serious at this point. The fun, cute hot springs trip has ended, and now things aren't as fun anymore. That's White Album 2 for you. We had our fun. It's over now. It's not fun anymore, only sad. Checking out episode number 9, Hearts Out of Touch, on the right-hand side. Ever since the trio's hot springs trip, Kazusa has failed to appear at school. Haruki has convinced himself that it is because of her imminent competition, but there are feelings rolling in his heart that he just can't account for. And even at the height of his relationship with Setsuna, they refuse to disappear. 'Cause you'd love two girls at the same time. Finally, in an effort to draw a firm line regarding his own feelings, Haruki makes a crucial decision and invites Setsuna to a party for just the two of them. What he doesn't know is that, at the same time, Kazusa has made a momentous decision of her own. Which is important. We all have to make decisions in life. Haruki making this decision, honestly, is good. It's good for him to be like, nope, I've made my decision. I'm going to move forward with it. Kazusa making decisions for her own life, honestly, super, super good for her. Very proud of her. As you, I'm sure that you know, it doesn't quite work out like that, but it was a valiant effort. On the left-hand side, episode 10, The Snow Melts and Until It Falls Again, part 1. Having learned of Kazusa's time overseas from her supposedly estranged mother, Yoko. I hate the way they write that. I hate the way they write that so much. Supposedly. No, she abandoned her daughter. There's no like, oh, well, if you look at it from this perspective. No. She is an estranged mother. She ditched her child. She was a child when she left, okay? She ditched Kazusa to be all on her own. Socially awkward, totally inept, didn't teach her to take care of herself or anything. She is an estranged mother. Haruki is stirred to irrational anger and sense of betrayal, and brutally lashes out at her. This only serves, however, to open the door to Kazusa's heart, which she had kept tightly shut for the sake of all three of them. What comes into view is the happiest and saddest year of Kazusa's life, beginning with the melting of the snow. Oh, God. That's what they say, that when the snow melts, we can see all of our sins. Good episodes. Look at all the tears. Look at all the tears in episode 10. Boy, howdy. So, our character review, a little bit of bonus information from Fumiaki Maruto, is on Io Mizusawa. And I love Io so much. So, on the right-hand side, Io Mizusawa, VA Ikumi Nakagami. Hojo High School, Class 3A. Former captain of the basketball team. Setsuna's classmate, Haruki's friend, and stuck with Takeya for better or worse. That's not nice. Though her boyish, open personality has earned her a lot of secret admirers, she appears to have no interest whatsoever in romantic relationships. I would definitely disagree with that. I mean, we definitely know that she's interested in Takeya, but she's not interested in anybody else. And even though she is interested in Takeya, she is not allowing herself to enter into a relationship because she doesn't want to get hurt. So, on the left, we have the character commentary directly by Fumiaki Maruto. So everything that's written here can be considered canon. Io Mizusawa, former captain of the girls' basketball team, frank, beautiful, enormously popular with the junior girls. Hey, what's with all the laid-back girl characters in this show? Your tastes are showing. In the game, for that matter. Girly girls like Setsuna are actually a lot rarer. The writer's tastes, or rather, his dearth of life experience in this regard, is really coming through here. Dangerous words. Now, in the last volume, I alluded to Takeya's first best friend. So here, I'll talk about Io's relationship with her first friend that she acknowledged as a boy. That's complicated. Just a bit. There's so much stock put into gender in this paragraph. It really isn't anything big, but around entrance exams, these two jokingly made a bet that said whichever one passed the exam could order the other one to do just one thing, which ended in a draw. Both passed. Aww. That is a cute bet. But that is a bet that would definitely lead to scary things. It's pretty fitting, though, for two extremely competitive characters who were kind of always at each other's throats. Although, at the time, Takeya's grades were actually far above Io's, which put Io at a clear disadvantage, so it is uncertain why she agreed to the bet. Nah, tomboys are always like that. They just want to prove themselves, even if they're at a disadvantage. Also, on the day that the test results were announced, Io was witnessed firsthand, looking frantically for someone else's test number, and almost crying when she found it. For God's sake, will you two just go out already? Aw, so cute. And And she was almost crying because Takeya got into the same school that she did, and she ended up being so happy. So one of the reasons that she accepted this challenge is that she wanted to make sure she got into the school and Takeya got into the school together. And that's so cute. I love you. And then we move down to Fumiyaki Maruto text commentary. This is the classroom. The 9th episode, in which the clouds begin to look menacing in earnest. The most bewitching, the most ominous part at the beginning is how marvelously emotional the kiss with Setsuna is. Oy vey. Actually, while this was being recorded, I was present from time to time, but there was a weird, hard to describe vibe around the staff members. And while Ake Tagawa-san, the sound director, played it off with a strange smile, I checked the script later and realized that nearly all of the sounds had been written as lines. All the scriptwriter's fault. Well done, ? Maruto. The sounds. The makeouts in White Album 2 are just so awkward. And I can imagine looking at a script and being like, oh, this is super lewd. Like, we know that White Album 2 is pretty lewd, but seeing it written out like that is just, yeah, that's a little awkward between everyone. Especially since the anime isn't lewd. It is safe for work. I would say this is a PG-13 type anime, so it's a lot different than the actual game. Also, the tonal gap in the latter half between Setsuna's phone call with her boyfriend, Haruki, and her conversation with her brother, Takahiro, is impressive. And Ake Tagawa-san found it amusing as well. But seriously, this is how little brothers get treated, says Maruto, who has 2 older sisters. Huh. Then, in the final act, there is the French speech that so splendidly colors the scene with Yoko. For that part, Yoko's line, "Who is it? I just managed to fall asleep," was apparently accompanied by the responsibility-shoving instruction, "Please translate this line of Yoko's into French." Love hearing the voice actresses and actors do different languages. It is always so interesting. Even when it's not, good, quote unquote, it's still so good. Even with the game, I was plenty enthusiastic about incorporating German and French lines, but I never actually included the lines in their original language. So I must think on the hard toils of those who supported me. I'm so sorry. I'll buy you all dinner or something later. Nice job sneaking this into the DVD box. Maybe they won't see it in time. And then checking out episode 10, The Snow Melts and Until It Falls Again. Part 1, mind you. And the 10th episode, The Beginning of the End, in which the unpleasant truth starts to become clear. By the way, regarding the Part 1 signifier, I actually wanted that to be a hidden in the TV guide. Then, when the "to be continued" appeared at the end of the episode, people would be surprised, like, oh, it's going to be a 2-parter. But, well, the TV channel wasn't going to use a false title, so that idea got scratched. I don't think you really need to hide the fact that it's a 2-part episode. Or just give them 2 different titles, right? 2 different related titles, and have the "to be continued." And then people would be surprised, and you wouldn't be lying about the title. Around here, Setsuna's treatment starts to get really harsh, with her number of lines tapering off and a lot of scenes where she's all by herself. But please don't worry. I'm on Team Setsuna. Which is the big point if you didn't already know. The writer of White Album 2 is a big Setsuna fan. Also, I'm not making any allowances in this competition, so stay on your toes. This episode, and episode 11 following it, made up a somewhat unique composition compared with the flow of things thus far. So I gave a lot of very meticulous staging notes to the staff. For example, the scene in which the featured song, After All 13, appears. Shimokawa-san worked hard in defending and preserving the placement from the game to the last. And the timing for the appearance of the title, its special treatment and being displayed across the whole screen, all these themes were put in place at the storyboarding stage. And I imagine the viewers must have felt all the ardor that the whole staff put into this flashback arc for Kazusa. Look, though, that doesn't mean we're making light of Setsuna, I swear. The fact that they're portraying both the girls is very important. And, the fact that Kazusa loved Haruki, Haruki loved Kazusa, but they kind of missed each other, like two ships passing in the night. That's kind of the whole point of this part. So obviously, yeah, Setsuna's going to get less dedicated screen time. It's going to be less interesting towards her. That's just how the story is written. If you want to stay a Setsuna fan and go through closing chapter and go through Setsuna's route, that's where she kind of shines, and that's where Kazusa ends up tapering off. But for now, no, it's totally understandable that Kazusa's like the star of the show, so to speak. Then we get to the final panel with Blue and some snowflakes, Project WA2. So, thank you ever so much for checking out Volume 5 of the Blu-ray series with me. The next one is Volume 6, and that will be the final one in the whole set. So this will include the final episodes of the anime. And praying still that we get a next season, but also not holding my breath for it. So, thanks so much for joining me on this DVD viewing, or reading, I guess, for White Album 2. And I'll be back with the next one shortly. Until then, hope you take care. See you.